buying a new construction home and it's like, hey, when are we actually closing? Are we ever going to get to move in? What's the process look like? Is it different than buying somebody else's home? Yeah, it's a little different. There's some things you need to know that are super important as part of the process. So today I want to talk about what does it look like to close on a new construction home and how does that whole process work? So let's get into it. Here we go. You've decided that a new home is the way you want to go. You're building, either you've said, hey, we're going to build from the ground up, or we're taking on a contract that has been started, or maybe we're talking about a completed home. So for the first part of this, here's what I'm talking about. I want to talk about like building from the ground up or homes that have started. And then if you're taking on a completed, depending on where it is in phase, it kind of all gets to the same point, what we need to do to close out this home. So when you start on a build project or you start at framing stage or whatever, the builder is going to write that contract and they're going to pick a arbitrary number out of the sky. And they're going to say, oh yeah, our build times right now are somewhere between, 6 and 10 months, depending on the builder, depending on the neighborhood, depending, all of those things. And they're going to say that, and you're going to be like, oh, awesome. And then you're going to be a type A personality like I am, and you're going to go and you're going to grab your phone and you're going to open up your calendar app and you're going to say, okay, the builder said we're going to close on my home on December 15th. And then you're going to open up your calendar and you're going to punch in December 15th and you're going to add an event and it's going to say closing day. And you're going to be so excited because you're going to host Christmas in your house and you've got everything planned and then it doesn't happen. Most likely, especially from the when you're starting a new home, most likely the number that they tell you or the date that they tell you at contract time is not going to be the day that you close that home. You're going to have permitting delays. You're going to have weather delays. You're going to have labor delays. You're going to have material delay. Like you're going to have all of these things that stack up, right? So first and foremost, a good rule of thumb is if you are picking up a brand new, like nothing's been done, the dirt hasn't been touched, and they haven't pulled permits, the house is probably going to sit for 2 months anyway to get permits and planning and all of that. So you're going to have a little bit of time there and then they're going to get started. So the date that they tell you is not going to be the permanent set in stone date most of the time. Occasionally we have had it happen with some clients where the builder, like everything fell into place and they said this one date and it happened on that one date. And it was, a modern miracle. We should have bought lottery tickets because we were so lucky. But most of the time that's not the case. Here's the important timeline. Once you get cabinetry, here's the helpful rule of thumb. Cabinetry in your home, so like kitchen cabinets, bathroom cabinets, once that is delivered and in, most of the time, not all the time, most of the time, that is your 45 to 60 day mark, which means you are probably closing within 45 to 60 days of the time cabinets are in the home. That is a general consensus. Hey, so that starts the clock. So, if you get the cabinets in, figure it out. Hey, we're 45 days from that point, you're probably going to close. That's going to be the point when the lender is going to reach back out to you again, and they're going to kind of redo all of your qualifications, look at your bank statements, your credit statements, your income, make sure you haven't changed jobs or quit jobs, or make sure you haven't added any car payments or taken on any new debt or forgotten to pay credit cards. So they're going to reach out and start that process again. That's also a good time to relook at your contract and see what you are getting in lending incentives, closing cost incentives from the builder and their lender. Once you have a rundown sheet, or like some lenders call it like a fee sheet, where it says, hey, here's the breakdown in detail of what they're charging you. That's the point when you probably want to shop your loan. Now, here's my caveat. Most builders have a preferred lending partner, or they own a ownership stake in a lending company. That's how they're able to get you more closing cost incentives. Oftentimes, the builder's lender is good and you're going to do well. Sometimes they're going to give you closing costs and then junk it up with all these different fees, and you're paying for way too much that you shouldn't be paying for. And it's like, oh, you gave us all this money, but you ran it back up in fees. And to be fair, there are fees associated with buying a home and originating a loan. That is across the board. That is going to be true. What I'm telling you is take your loan at that point and shop it around and say, hey, where can I get the best deal? And then you go back to your builder and say, hey, if I don't use your lender, how much of this money can I keep? Like, how much of this are you going to give me toward closing costs? Hey, you were giving me 15. Am I going to get 12? I don't know. Hey, you were giving me 18. Am I going to get 10? I don't know. Take your loan, shop it, get the best deal possible. So at that 45 to 60 day window, that's when you want to kind of look at that. That's also probably when you want to have the conversation with your lender to say, should we consider locking our rate? And they're going to say, yes, no, we don't know what the rates are doing, but it's worth a conversation. Hey, how much would it cost us to lock our rate in right now if we haven't already? So probably a good thing to talk about at that point. Like I said, 45 to 60 day window. Even as we get close on that, we're going to get to probably the point of being about 2 weeks from the closing date. And so before I tell you that, here's what you have to know. We've talked about this before on this channel. Builder contracts are not written to protect you. They're written to protect the builder. So what that means in this case scenario, like if you are delaying closing, like if everything's done and the builder has all their stuff and you're just like, well, this and well, that, and we can't close yet. We don't have the funds. We don't have this. We don't have that. They are going to charge you fees, like to the tune of, $50 to $100, $200 a day. And they have the right to do so in their contracts. However, on the flip side, if they say, oh yeah, we're going to close August 1st, and then August 1st rolls around and you're not ready to close, they can drag it out. Their contract is written to protect them. Not that builders make habits of dragging things out, but you just need to be aware that they can. So we've talked about, our 45-day window. We got cabinets. We're getting closer. We're probably 2 weeks out. At the 2 week, probably 10 to 14 days, you're going to know for sure, hey, we are closing on this day. Everything's getting done, and it's going to be like a frenzy. If stuff's not done at your house, it should be a frenzy trying to get it all done. And at that point, your builder is going to reach out and they're going to set up a new home orientation or a builder walk. Those words are kind of interchangeable. So it's the biggest key that's different from a resale home to a new construction home. On a resale home, you go in yourself and you're like, yeah, this is the house. And then you do the thing and that's it. And nobody shows you how anything works. And they're like, good luck. On a new build, that is not the case. The builder, the person who built your home, or in some cases with some companies, the company that they use for a warranty will show up and do what's called a new home orientation. This is also where the term blue tape walk comes in. These are my favorite. So this is the day, like I said, probably 10 days to 14 days before you close that you're going to walk into your home and they're going to hand you and hand me, your realtor, as we're working together. Roll of blue tape. I'm just going to tear it off. It's good. That's a good sound. Blue tape, and we're going to walk through the home, and we're going to find every single deficiency. This is paint chips. This is scuff marks on walls. This is cracks. This is tile that's not in the right spot. This is faucets that don't work. This is anything that's wrong with this home. You're missing a sprinkler head. The garage door doesn't up and down properly. Whatever it is, it's getting blue taped. Here's what I'll tell you. Your home should have there should be blue tape in your home. You will never, ever, 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 ever find a builder that when you walk it the very first time, everything is perfect. I promise you, you will not. So don't freak out when we go to do this and you're like, oh my gosh, we spent like 4 hours in this thing and we walked every room of the home and there's so much tape. Don't freak out on two parts. One, it is normal. Two, they're going to get it all fixed. That's their job. They're used to doing that. Pro tip, here's my pro tip to you. So probably a day or two before your blue tape walk, you want to have your third-party inspection scheduled. Super important. I tell you all the time, this is a hill I will die on. If you watch any of my other videos, you know that I'm going to tell you, get your home inspected. It's worth it. Spend the money, get the inspection, especially on new construction. But you want that inspector to do his inspection before your builder/blue tape walk. Why? Because if his inspection is done, you can take that with you to your blue tape walk and hand it to your builder and say, hey, here's some things that I noticed that need to be fixed. Can we get these fixed on top of our blue tape walk? The second piece of the walk is, yes, finding all the inefficiencies, finding things that need to be fixed, pulling on all your windows. The second piece of that is learning how your home works. So this is where they're going to show you, hey, here's how to shut off the water to your entire home. Here's where your water shutoffs are for every single bathroom. Here's how to change out your air filter. Here's how your sprinkler system works and what you need to know about that. Here's how your gas line works and where the shutoffs are and how that thing works. Here's how your stove works. Anything that is like a functioning system of your home, this is the point when the builder is going to walk you through and teach you and show you everything you need to know about how to make that home function. So you're going to do this 10 to 14 days before closing, blue tape it, inspect it, give it to the builder, bing, bang, boom, and it's like, great, it's done. Then probably either the day before or the day of closing, you're going to go walk your home one final time. You're going to make sure everything that was marked is done. Most builders, and it just depends on the company about how their policy works out, they have some sort of form that you sign. Typically, you sign the first time at the first walkthrough, and then you sign the second time at your final walkthrough approving all the work that has been done. Now, the question probably is, Zach, what happens if all the work is not done? Well, glad you asked. That kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. It depends on what is not done determines the course of action. So if, like we were talking about, if you refuse to close, they can impose fines. And again, this is being reasonable, right? Like, hey, if everything is almost done or whatever, and you refuse to close, they have the potential to impose fines on you for the way that you delay that. What often happens is you have to decide as a individual is if what they owe you, is it worth delaying closing for? So I'll give you a perfect example. I had a client that closed last week, and one of the things that was on her inspection or her blue tape walk was her garage door. Like one of the panels has a dent in it. It looks like somebody might have backed their truck into it. So it has a dent in it, and so it was on the list. The builder marked it. Hey, we owe you a whole new garage door. It functions, like it goes up and down. There's just a giant dent in the door. It's like, yeah, we owe you a garage door. Well, the builder tells her, hey, that garage door, it's about a month out. So so she had to decide, hey, do I want to delay closing or do I want to just go ahead and close and sign a we owe? And so that's where the builder says, hey, we didn't complete everything that we have to complete. Here is a we owe form, like that we owe you to get done, and it's signed, and they keep a copy, you keep a copy, so that it's clear we owe you. So that's what she decided to do. She said, you know what, I want to go ahead and close on our house. They're going to sign the we owe you a garage door. It's on order. We're going to get it to you as soon as we can. So that's kind of that process of what that looks like with a builder. So day of or day before closing, you're going to go walk it one final time. You're going to sign off on it, and then you're going to go to closing. And depending on the builder and the community, you're either going to close at a title company, or oftentimes a lot of builders will let you close at the model home in their community. And which means as soon as you close, here's another pro and con tip. If you're using their preferred lender, and again, not saying you should or shouldn't one way or the other, if you use a builder's preferred lender, there's a greater chance that you get your keys to your home quicker. Because if they have a preferred relationship, they know that loan's going to fund. So they're not worried about like, oh, we got to wait? Should we wait? Is there something going on? They don't have to wait. So it's quicker that you're going to get your keys using a preferred lender most of the time. So go to title, close, fund, do all the things. By the time you drive from title back to the model, the sales counselor will hand me your keys to hand to you, and then we get to celebrate. Also, your builder will they will demaster your home. So I know a lot of people worry about that. Like, oh my gosh, is there keys of my house floating around everywhere? Up until the point that you close, there's a master key that opens all of the build jobs in the neighborhood. Once you sign off on that final walkthrough, they're going to go through and demaster your home so that nobody else has a key that gets into your home. So I want to give you that peace of mind. And of course, if you always, you can change the lock again for yourself, but you don't have to. So that's the process of closing on a new home. I know it's a lot. The other big thing that you have to do after closing, and I want to remind all my clients of this, is, hey, you have a warranty with your builder. Most of those are 1, 2s, and 10s. We've talked about that extensively. You also have manufacturer warranties. So most likely in your kitchen, there's going to be, one of those drawers is going to have all of your instruction manuals for all of your appliances, for your HVAC system, all of those things. The biggest thing you need to do is after you close, you need to make sure you go through and do the registration, like pick up your phone. It's QR code, whatever, register your appliances, make sure you get your warranties through those manufacturers as well. That is not something you get when you buy a resale home. So I always want to remind you, hey, that's a super important thing that you make sure you do as part of the new construction process. And then we celebrate. That's it. Breathe. You bought a new home. Hey, here's what I'll tell you. I sell tons of new construction homes here in DFW. I'm really good at what I do, and I want to help you find your next new construction home. I can't do that if you don't reach out. As always, I will put my contact information at the bottom of the video. Call, text, email. Honestly, millennial, send me a text. It's just easier all the way around. I can cover all parts of DFW, get you into the best homes, get you the best deal, help you save the most money, and I want to do that for you. So if you have questions about what's going on in new construction, reach out, comment down below. If you tell me about your process, tell me what it was like maybe when you closed a new home and you're like, man, I didn't work with Zach. I wish I would have. If you want to browse new construction homes, you can do that in the description down below. And of course, if you found value in this video, as always, thumbs up goes a long way. If you want to continue to learn about the new construction market here in DFW, subscribe to the channel. We're constantly putting out new content. Appreciate you guys for your time. I hope this was helpful. We will see you in our next video. Bye for now.